Hello and welcome to the Review of Champions. I am Lord Deathman, and I will be your host on today's show where we review the first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It is indeed a new world order as Sam Wilson and James Barnes tackle both personal and professional challenges while a new threat emerges from the aftermath of the blip. Before we go any further, be advised that this discussion does contain spoilers for the first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, obviously. If you are enjoying the content, it's simple. Hit that like button and subscribe. Also, be sure to join the conversation on Twitter, Facebook, and at the message board, sakar.freeforums.net. Today's panel includes some of our finest champions today, some of the finest that Sakar has to offer. So when I say your name, champion, just give a shout out to the folks listening outside in fandom land. Grandmaster, go ahead, please.
Hi, everyone. Doing great tonight.
Sound off.
Hey, looking forward to it, man. I actually just watched this episode like literally 15 minutes ago, so I'm pumped.
Oh, wow. Okay. And Taylor.
Shout out to the fandom. Check.
Right on. All right, guys, let's dive right into the review. So I want to start with our first champion. Since it's fresh in your mind, Stanton, and you just saw it, give us your thoughts on this first episode of Disney's second series in their MCU Disney Plus series universe, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I've been staying away from a lot of spoilers, so I didn't really know exactly what to expect, other than some sort of spy thriller on the order of the Winter Soldier film itself. So I don't know, I found it really refreshing to get into Sam's life and to Bucky's life, both pretty equally. I guess one of the first things that stood out to me was Rhodey showing back up, and them at the very opening just having that moment where they're talking sort of man to man about the legacy that the show is obviously carrying on from Steve Rogers. So I thought that was just really great right off the bat. And then just getting some backstory on Sam's family. It's one of those things that we haven't seen a lot of. We don't see a ton of it from a lot of characters, really, occasionally, but it was really cool to just kind of get back and see him sort of in real life. Ever since the Winter Soldier, I've always kind of been wondering, what the heck does this guy do? Because you do see him in a position way back in the Winter Soldier, and from then on he just kind of carries on with the team in parts, but I always wondered what he kind of did when he wasn't there, so that was great to see. Bucky was really interesting. It kind of threw me for a loop a little bit when you first see him as the Winter Soldier pop back in, and he kills a janitor or something. I don't know what that guy was doing, but kind of an innocent sort of guy. And I didn't know how that was going to play in. I wasn't thinking my way through it, or I probably could have figured it out, but it was really cool to see his new life sort of in seclusion, and he's actually helping out the dad of the guy he killed. At least that's what I took about. If somebody else has a different interpretation, let me know, but that's what I just got out of that. So I thought that was kind of super cool to see him sort of offering some sort of redemption for his own life. And I like that nobody really knows who he is. I didn't know if that was going to be the case or not, but the girl he's talking to and the dad that he's befriended both seem to have no idea about his past, so I thought that was pretty cool. But I don't know, I'll let you guys take it away, but those were my quick first thoughts. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, let's get some impressions from the Grandmaster. What did you think of this first episode? What are the character beats, the action? Think they could have done anything better?
No, actually. I know a lot of Marvel fans are always in for the action, but I am actually in for the character moment. So this first episode gave me a lot of satisfaction in the sense that they really start to explore Sam Wilson. They really start to explore James Barnes and get some backstory on them. Nice to know Sam has a sister and two nephews. Yeah, I really like that. And for the people who are in for the action, that first action scene in Tunisia, yeah, great. I mean, a lot of shots from the trailer already in there, and different than how they made it look in the trailer. So that was kind of surprising, but really nice. Yeah, and Sam has a hard time. You can see dealing with the legacy of Captain America, and he actually doesn't want to do it, and he gives up the shield. To me, it stung a bit that in the beginning the guy shaking his hand, the guy with the beard, no name yet, said, "Good decision. The shield is where it belongs." And then a few days later, it's in the hands of somebody else. So, U.S. agent, of course. We will get to that in the next few episodes. Yeah, one thing was quite disappointing for me, and that was the fact that Mephisto really didn't show up again. So, still hoping for that to happen, but no, without kidding, I thought it was great. A great setup episode. It's obvious the show still needs to evolve and get really in a higher pace and a higher tempo. But the setup was there, the flag smashers, everything. It has been set up, and now we continue to see what's going on in the next few episodes.
Yeah, it feels like they got a lot of business out of the way quite skillfully, while also letting us in onto some nice intimate character beats with both of them. I was surprised to find, spoilers, that both characters do not actually come into contact with each other in this first episode. So that was an interesting take. I thought we'd see the team up right away. But thanks for that input. And I want to turn to Taylor, get your impressions on this episode.
I think it was a great episode. I'm overall very pleased with the show so far. As Grandmaster said, that opening action sequence was spectacular. It was blockbuster level, and whether you're talking MCU or Mission Impossible or Fast and Furious, any franchise you want to say, that was at least as good or better than any action sequence that's been on film in a long, long time. So that definitely started it off right. And then, of course, the rest with the setting up of the situation, introducing the villains, introducing our two heroes, and showing us what they're doing right now. It didn't miss a beat. So overall, very happy.
Yeah, I have to agree with Taylor's assessment. I really enjoyed the episode. I really kind of liked taking a moment to follow the characters through their normal life. The episode kind of comically tries to address that issue with superheroes and like, how do they get paid, right? How does superhero finance actually work? But you see Falcon's got to deal with mundane things like mortgages and trying to get an SBA loan. So those little bits of details and also working the blip sort of into the overall story, the aftermath of that and how people are dealing with it. Yeah, I think this is great storytelling, and I think Disney's on a roll so far as these new series go. So not WandaVision, we're in totally different territory, super soldiers and not so much magic and sorcery, but I'm really enjoying the change of pace. So I want to take a second to go around the table and sort of get the 1 out of 10 ratings from each of the panelists here. So 10 being the highest, guys. I'll start with Stanton. What's your rating for New World Order, the first episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
You know I don't like numbers, but I'll give one to you anyway. It's a 10. It's what I expected. Like it's more than I expected, actually. A small thing I just add to that is U.S. Agent is a character that I've told you guys before got me into comics. I know that sounds a little unusual, but I think I was flipping through some. They used to have these little comic book trading cards. I don't know if everybody remembers that. A long time ago, and growing up, I flipped through one, and it was U.S. Agent. And I was like, wow, there's really a lot of other stuff going on here that I wasn't aware of. I thought it was just like the main guys anybody's ever heard of, and that was it. So U.S. Agent got me interested in looking into this stuff more. So I was really glad to see him sort of pop up at the end there. I knew he was coming, obviously, but I thought that was a cool introduction. I'm talking too much. I'll go with 10 here and let you guys take it away. Keep going.
No. Totally righteous commentary on there. I have to say U.S. Agent has always been a favorite character of my own. That's kind of like when I was just understanding the different spectrums of politics and seeing his version of Captain America versus Steve Rogers in the comic books was really, really intriguing. But hey, we're hot out of the gate here with the first rating being a 10. Grandmaster, 1 out of 10 for New World Order.
I'm going to be a little bit more careful. It was perfectly fine for what it was. It was a setup episode. Nothing too spectacular, nothing to great about it in the sense that it was magical or fantastic or whatever. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. And I want to feedback a little bit on Taylor, what he said. This is a TV show and you get movie style action scenes. This goes to show again how much Disney and Marvel Studios are committed to the Disney Plus project. And if you're not a subscriber to Disney Plus, you're missing out.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. So we've got a more conservative grade here. If we were to do some averaging so far, though, the overall rating is still strong. It looks like, Taylor, you're going to be the decision maker here. 1 out of 10.
I give the episode a 9 out of 10.
Outstanding. So, yeah, I'm somewhere in the like 8 to 8.5 range. I thought that opening sequence was just super exciting in terms of getting back to their roots, the MCU, and like strong action, right, that we could all kind of get behind. But there was also narrative in that action in terms of trying to save that individual. So not just mindless blitz of explosions and death-defying leaps. Great episode. I'm gonna give it an 8.2, I think. Using the moderator's discretion here. So yeah, we're all agreeing that this was a fairly strong episode, guys. So now that we have all of the reviews in, I'd like to take the time to move into a new segment of our review. We know from WandaVision that there was a lot of fan theory crafting and speculation going on. Malcolm Spellman, the showrunner for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, has gone on record as saying, we are the antithesis of WandaVision. This really isn't a show where there's a weekly mystery or a never-ending search for clues. This is really going to be about character moments and trying to tell a story about people who are trying to navigate their way through a complex world. So you won't be looking for Easter eggs on every piece of wallpaper. But that hasn't really stopped the fandom speculation machine from revving up into high gear. So I'd like to introduce a new segment on the show, which I call Cannon Fodder.
Cannon Fodder.
Where we're going to be taking a look at some of the theories that have already worked their way into the wild. And what I'd like my panelists to do here is sort of give me a buy, sell, hold rating, or if you have another rating on a particular theory, that's fine too. You can enter your own. We're going to go through 3 of them, and you guys are going to let me know what you think in terms of, is this going to happen? Is this some kind of a fanfic? And people need to stop smoking that Terrigen mist. What is going on? So first fan theory, hot off the presses here, making its rounds in social media, is Helmut Zemo is going to try to retake control of the Winter Soldier. So Longing, Rusted, Furnace, Daybreak. We're going back to all of that stuff. I'm going to start with Stanton. What is that? Is that a buy for you? Hold? Sell?
I'll probably hold that. I have no idea what he's going to do there, so I can't buy it. I can't sell it. He's going to have some sort of plot going on there. It's going to involve Buck in some way. How? I don't know. So I'll hold that for now.
Okay, that's a hold. Grandmaster. The theory is that Helmut Zemo is going to retake control of the Winter Soldier. What's your take on that?
Hold with a tendency to buy. I think this theory is based on that list you just started calling out, that is popping up in the end credits, in the animated end credits. So I guess it's based on that. It could be. Knowing Marvel, that list is in there for a reason. It could be
right.
Just to point out it's Bucky, because it's specifically tied to Bucky, and the show is called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, of course. But there could be a reason behind it. But for now, I will not say definitely will happen, but I do tend to that it could happen.
You're on the side of a buy with a possible sell down the line. Understood. All right. So Taylor, it's up to you now to get your take on this one. Do you think Helmut is going to sort of do a repeat of his Civil War strategy?
I mean, it could happen. It's kind of pointless to make up these theories at this point. We've had one episode. No one really knows what's going to happen, so I will hold because it's as good a guess as anything.
Okay, fair enough. We've got some people who are real strong on the side of the speculation and some people who are indifferent and pushing this one down the line. So let's jump into the second one. The second was a little tricky, but the fans feel fairly strongly about this one. John Walker, also known as the U.S. agent, is going to become the show's uber villain, as in the ultimate villain of the show, probably the one who is behind the Flag Smashers. Stanton, can you take that one and put it into your portfolio, or are you going to have to sell?
I'll be on the side of selling that one. I don't know really what's gonna happen here, and I'm not gonna rule anything out, so I won't hard sell it. But yeah, I'll take a decent offer on that one. I don't know what's going on with him, but that they appointed the guy who's also behind the Flag Smashers seems maybe a little far-fetched right now. I'm not buying that one yet, so I'm definitely selling it at this point.
Okay, that's a sell. Grandmaster, what do you think? John Walker is behind it all.
I'm going to give this away. I'm not even going to sell it. You can have it for free.
That's a giveaway.
Yeah, it's... I don't see that happening, actually. You get the sense that John Walker, U.S. agent, is a villain in this show because the way it's set up in the first episode. When it usually comes to shows like this, they have a twist. And the twist could well be that John Walker is the villain, but then it's so obvious you can see a mile away coming. So no, give it away.
Fair enough. That is a strong sell on the Grandmaster's part. You know, I was also on the side of sell with this one. I'll just put in a few quick notes on my own sort of thinking of that. And I was like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But then after thinking about it, I was like, if you wanted to sort of make a case for a more aggressive Captain America, one who has to go on the assault, one who has to go on the attack, it might not be totally out of the realm of speculation that John Walker might be trying to at least prop up some of the activities of the Flag Smashers to make himself seem a bit more important and relevant, and sort of get a louder voice in the conversation for how we do our foreign policy, how we treat these kinds of threats. But in any event, I'm going to move on to Taylor here. John Walker, ultimate villain of the series. Is that a buy or sell, or are you holding on that?
Highly unlikely. I'll sell.
That's a sell. Wow. And a man of few words. Guys, I'm going to take us through our third and final fan theory here, and let me know what you think about this. This one's been making the rounds for a long time, and I think the fans are eager to see this particular piece of speculation unfold. I don't know how I feel about it just yet, but I'll start with Stanton and ask you the question, will Sam Wilson end up wearing the suit and carrying the shield?
Yes, but I'm going to caveat that. So I'll buy that, but I think there may be a more than reasonable chance that they end up sharing this and both maybe not carrying the shield, but both carrying on the mantle and both wearing a version of the suit. I don't know that, but it just seems to fit their bonding friendship and kind of culminating that. And it also kind of ties up both Sam's sort of acceptance of this responsibility and his evolved abilities. He's obviously gotten a lot better over time, which is amazing. That whole first opening scene was fantastic, by the way. And then also for Bucky, it would culminate and kind of fully like signify his redemption. So I'm tending to be on that sort of side, but yeah, Sam is definitely, even if they don't do that, Sam's getting this back and he's going to wear the shield. He's going to accept that responsibility. I will buy that full out.
Okay, that's a full-on buy. Even if it doesn't happen in this series, we're feeling like there will be Sam Wilson, Captain America. What do you think, Grandmaster?
I'm gonna hold because I'm not too sure it's going to be Sam who ends up with the shield. I have a strong feeling it will be Bucky, but that's just an idea I have because he has also the super soldier stuff in him from Hydra. So yeah, makes more sense. But I wouldn't rule out Sam being taking on the mantle in the end. But we'll just have to wait and see.
We will. I think you can make an extremely strong case for James Buchanan Barnes taking on the mantle of Captain America. I think there would be an awesome redemption arc for him, and it would be very poetic if we'd seen someone who was unwittingly turned into a weapon against his own country, now becoming the symbol of that country. But as you say, we'll see what happens. So I'm putting you down for a sell on that theory, and I'm going to move on to Taylor. What do you think? Is it something you want to see, or is it just wishful thinking amongst the fandom?
Well, it could happen either way. It could either end up being Sam or Bucky. I think it's likely that at some point Sam will be Captain America. So I will buy the theory. I just think it's most likely it's what Cap wanted, and it makes sense.
All right. There you have it from the panel. We've got mixed opinions on all of these fandom theories, but it's interesting to see what's out there in the wild and what the fans are thinking about, right? So whether you feel positive on fan speculation or whether you kind of, push them back with a large barge pole, you know that it's here to stay, right? People are going to start thinking and speculating about that. And I have to say that the speculation I've heard so far is at least more reasonable. We don't expect Mephisto to jump out of every single corner in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, probably because of the decidedly different tone of the show. Yeah, so shout outs and thanks to my panel for going ahead and sounding off on their reviews and giving us their thoughts on fan speculation. What is the comment there, Grandmaster?
Well, there was one. You said until now it was quite moderate, but I already saw speculation again about X-Men being introduced in the show and stuff like that. People, just stop. Don't set yourself up for disappointment again.
Cyclops becomes Captain America.
Yeah, but because it's BS. There's no way that mutants are gonna show up in this show. If they do, you can remind me of this at the end. But no way, it's too soon.
Okay, I tend to agree with you there. I don't think the X-Men are going to show up in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but for some of the fans who are really into speculating and doing their theory crafting, it's kind of creative what some of the folks out there come up with. So, here's to hoping they get what they want, at least in a fan fiction somewhere. But any other comments from anybody else before we close out? All right.
Yeah, I got one quick one.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify the reason I gave it a 9 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10 is because I think the background information and the showing us of Bucky's life as it is right now was excellent. I think the Sam life portion was less good. They had to do something. They had to show us what Sam is doing now. They had to show us what his life is like now. But I just thought it was kind of cliche. I mean, how many times have we seen the scene of the person not getting the loan in the loan officer's, office there, and the loan officer always looks the same. It's always a middle-aged white guy with glasses who turns them down for a loan. So I just thought that they could have put a little more thought into Sam's situation. Other than that, like I said, 9 out of 10. Everything else was great.
Yeah, strong episode, and yeah, I can totally understand that feeling of that felt like a really sort of overused story beat in terms of the loan officer and his attitude towards giving the loan to Sam, so forth and so on. Those seemed like really, really common struggles that everyone has, but it was kind of nice to see the family relationship, and since Sam has been away for 5 years, how his sister had to sort of toe the line, I thought was an interesting piece of that dialogue. So interesting comment, though, and thank you for sharing that. Anybody else before we close out? We still got a little bit of time on the clock. All right, guys. Well, now I will properly close out this episode of Review of Champions. So I think this does bring us to a conclusion, everyone out there in fandom land. Hey, if you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and sound off in the comments here in YouTube. And remember, if you are within the sound of my voice, you too are a champion. Be safe out there.